Would you people keep your ghetto photo shoot off my lawn? This is a respectable neighborhood, not the projects. That's how it started, the kind of line that splits your life into before and after, slicing right through the soft golden air of a Sunday I was sure couldn't be ruined. Let me back up a sec so you know just how perfect that moment felt before it shattered. The sun was dipping gold on everything. My wife, looking radiant in her pink dress, stood under the old oak tree we fell in love with when we first saw this place, cradling our baby girl, 2 months old, and already the center of our little universe. And me, I was there in my pajama pants and a white tee camera in hand, determined to capture one of those snapshots you hang on the wall and hold on to when times get rough. Not for social media, this was for our family, for the album we'd pull out years from now, to show our daughter just how loved she was from day one. You know the feeling, peace so thick you could scoop it up. My wife was laughing, the baby gurgling, the yard still sweet with sprinkler mist. We'd worked for this, saved for it. This house, this slice of quiet was our little American dream, and it was ours. Right up until that voice, sharp as broken glass, came slicing in from the hedge line, the hedge so neatly trimmed it looked like it belonged in a magazine. I lowered my camera, my heart skipping. There, peering through the gap in the green, was a face I'd never seen before. Woman, late 50s, blonde helmet hair so stiff it defied wind, navy blazer pants pressed razor sharp. She looked ready to chair a board meeting, not start a street brawl. Her finger-painted blood red was pointed right at my wife. Sorry, I said, fighting to keep my voice steady. Brain lagging behind the shock. This is our yard. Don't you lie to me, she snapped, marching up to the edge of her perfectly manicured grass, glaring at us like we'd shown up with crowbars instead of a baby and a camera. I've lived here 30 years. I know who belongs, and you people don't. My wife's smile crumpled, clutching our daughter a little tighter. Ma'am, she said, gentle as you please, we just moved in last month. We own this house. We're just taking pictures. Own it! She snorted, ticking off a list of old prejudices on her fingers. Government program. Your kind moves in property values plummet noise mess. She was talking like she expected to find broken down cars in our yard. But all she saw was grass, a swing set, some basil plants. I felt that old heat bubbling up. But I looked at my family and knew I had to be the rock. So I raised my hands, palms out, peace, always peace, even though every instinct screamed to do otherwise. Ma'am, I think you're mistaken. We're your neighbors. We live here. This is our property. She squinted like I was speaking in riddles. I'm not having this conversation, she spat, whipping out her phone. My blood ran cold. We've all seen the videos, what happens next when someone weaponizes fear against you. Yes, 911, she said, voice switching to frail and panicky. There's a group of people on my property, being aggressive. I'm an elderly woman. I'm terrified. I just stood there still in pajama pants, holding a camera. My wife's arms wrapped around our baby looked stricken. They're yelling at me, she added, shooting us a smirk. They have cameras, probably casing the neighborhood to rob it later. It was so nuts I almost laughed. My wife gasped, stepping back, shielding the baby. Please hurry. He's very large. Intimidating. I don't know what he's capable of. That line, that was the one that snapped me out of my shock. She wasn't just a busybody. She was setting the stage for something that could get me killed. I started recording. Didn't say a word, just lifted my phone. For a second, her mask slipped rage, burning hot, before she clicked back to trembling victim mode. Please, I'm begging you, send someone, now. And she disappeared into her house, leaving silence in her wake. What do we do? My wife whispered, shaking. We stay. I said, my voice way braver than I felt. This is our yard. We've done nothing wrong. I knew if we left, if we hid, it'd look like we had something to hide. So we waited. The golden light felt like a spotlight. The baby started to fuss, and then Karen. Yeah, I learned her name later, returned with a vengeance. She came out dragging a green hose nozzle in hand, eyes wild. Without a word, she let loose a jet of freezing water right at us. My wife screamed, spinning to protect our baby. Her dress plastered to her skin, her hair dripping. I jumped in front of them, took the brunt on my back. The baby wailed, and over the noise, Karen shrieked, "Get out of here, you filth!" She was hosing us down like we were something to be scrubbed off the world. That was it for me, the end of patience. "Go inside," I yelled to my wife, and I stood my ground, recording, soaking wet but not backing up an inch. I had it all on video. This was no longer a misunderstanding. This was assault. Sirens cut through the air. Karen dropped the hose, tried to tidy her blazer, smoothed her hair, and by the time the cops rolled up, she was playing the scared old lady. Two officers, one older, grizzled, one younger, sharp-eyed. "Oh, thank God you're here," she cried, pointing at me, telling them I'd threatened her, tried to break into her house. The older cop looked at me, dripping water on my own porch and back at her dry as toast. "Ma'am, tell us exactly what happened." She spun her web, painting me as a threat. My turn. "Officer," I said, handing over my phone, "this is my home. My wife and I were in our yard taking pictures of our newborn." This woman screamed racist insults, called 911, and lied, then assaulted us with a hose. I have the whole thing recorded. The younger officer asked, "Are you willing to press charges?" "Absolutely," I said, ice in my voice. Karen went pale, shrieked about doctored videos, but the damage was done. The cops gave her a citation for assault, a slap on the wrist, but the younger officer quietly told me to send my evidence to a detective. He knew the game. Inside, the rage hit. My wife wrapped in a blanket, our baby sobbing, our peace gone. That night, I backed up every video, every detail into a file called The Neighbor. I dug into public records. Karen HOA treasurer, of course. Her social media was all community and kindness. At work, she was an HR exec at a company that bragged about diversity. I smiled grimly, a trap built from her own hypocrisy. Next week, a cream-colored HOA letter arrived, 3 violations unapproved. Landscaping my wife's tomato bed, improper storage, our swing set, not even assembled, nuisance noise, our baby crying. $100 fines each. It was Karen's fingerprints all over. She couldn't get us arrested, so she tried to fine us out. But I'd read the rules. I found loopholes, contradictions, and most importantly, rules about board member conduct and conflicts of interest. That weekend, an old man shuffled over while I mowed the lawn. "Tough start, huh?" he said. We talked, and he let slip that Karen used the HOA's landscaping company for her personal yard, then wrote it off as a community expense. Embezzlement clear as day. His son-in-law had copies of invoices. "She's sloppy," the old man said. "All that pride makes her careless." That was the missing piece. I called a lawyer friend. Sharp loves a fight. He lit up at my story. We sue for assault, emotional distress, harassment, and file for a restraining order. Plus, we challenge every HOA violation, demand a hearing, and hold the embezzlement in reserve. But the cherry on top, that old plat map I'd found her Rose's patio and shed, were all on our land. We got a certified survey. Sure enough, her sacred border was 5 feet onto our property. We documented it all and waited. Meanwhile, Karen escalated trash cans, blocking our driveway floodlights and our windows, blaring classical music when we sat outside. I set up security cameras. My lawyer's letter to the HOA board was a masterpiece, cited every bylaw, refuted every bogus violation, and invoked fair housing protections. Sent certified to every board member. The next move, a blistering cease and desist to Karen copied to her HR department. The facts, the video, the campaign of harassment, her employer was now aware. Everything stopped. The music, the lights, the trash games, gone. Then came a letter from her lawyer, dismissive, insulting, offering $500 to make it go away. My lawyer laughed, replied with a single sentence, "We will see you in court." Neighbors took sides, but others quietly started bringing us evidence. Old HOA emails, threats, grievances. Karen's pattern wasn't new. She'd been a tyrant for years. Now the whole block was watching. At deposition, Karen spun her stories until my lawyer laid the land survey in front of her in front of everyone. So not only did you assault my clients, but you did it on their own property while you were illegally encroaching on their land. She went silent, colorless. The evidence was bomb-proof. A copy went to her employer. Within 2 days. She was allowed to resign. HR managers don't survive racist scandals. Armed with neighbor affidavits and embezzlement evidence, we demanded an HOA hearing. The president stonewalled, so my lawyer wrote every homeowner explained that if the board protected Karen, everyone could face special assessments if we won in court. Next HOA meeting, packed. Residents spoke out. By the end, Karen resigned as treasurer. An audit was ordered. All violations against us were canceled with an apology. We'd not just defended ourselves, we'd cracked the rotten system open. Karen, the former queen, was now a ghost in her own home. Civil mediation followed. Karen, looking broken, offered $10,000. My lawyer wouldn't budge, $250,000 or trial. The tension built until we played the ace the land. We'll take $100,000, $1,000 in legal title to the patio roses and shed encroachment, or $250,000, $1,000, and you can move them yourself. Karen caved, signed over the land, paid up, and was forced to write a formal apology admitting her actions. But here's the twist, the real ending. My first urge was to build a giant, ugly fence. My wife had a better idea: inclusion, not exclusion. We donated Karen's roses to a senior center, turned her patio into a community garden, invited the whole block, yes, even her old allies, to grow whatever they wanted. The garden bloomed, neighbors laughed, kids played. Karen, boxed in by her own hate, eventually moved out. The for sale sign on her lawn was the final trophy, but even victory leaves echoes. Our garden became famous, an online sensation, then a tourist stop. Strangers took photos, activists staged rallies, news vans parked outside. Our story was no longer our own. It felt like our home had become a set piece for other people's narratives, until my wife suggested we reclaim it one last time. We wrote our story, start to finish, asked for privacy, and told the world that if they wanted to honor our win, they should build their own gardens in their own neighborhoods. The circus moved on. Now, as I watch my daughter run, laughing between sunflowers and tomato vines, the old man tending his flowers, my wife chatting with neighbors, I know we've finally found peace. We fought for our home, but what we really won was something better, a real living, breathing community. Not perfect, but ours. And maybe that's the best kind of justice you can hope for. So tell me, what would you have done? Where's the line between standing up and moving on? Drop a comment. Share your story. Tell me what justice looks like to you, because out here under the oak tree, I've learned the only thing stronger than hate is what you plant in its place.